You're watching Byline Wilmington on CBS 10 WILM. Here's your host, Don Ansell.
Clash of the Titans is the title of the show. We've had two guests talking about the economic sides to this proposal of Titan coming to the region. Our third guest is the chair of the New Hanover County Commission, Ted Davis, and we're going to talk about the public policy piece of this puzzle. Mr. Chairman, thanks for coming in. Good to see you.
Thank you, Don.
This has been quite a journey for you as a member of the commission who were instrumental in initiating this whole process. Are you surprised at how volatile the issue has been?
Yes, I am. I never would have thought that this particular issue would have raised to the level that it has.
Did you have any idea when this whole thing was brought to the commission by the Committee of 100 that what you were in for?
No, I did not.
Yeah.
As we've discussed before, Don, my relationship with the Committee of 100 was based upon my past experiences with issues such as Verizon, General Electric, never had any problems. So when this proposed Titan issue was brought before the commission, I just assumed that it would be another avenue of bringing an industry here and without the negative aspects.
If you had known what lied ahead, or what would that have made a difference in how you proceeded?
It would have, as far as I am concerned, and because if I had known that there had been so much concern about the potential impacts upon the environment, I would have wanted to take a further look at that before voting on whether or not to award any incentives as a result of Titan coming here.
Yeah. Talking about the incentives, some say that Titan would have come here regardless of incentives because of the combination of resources in that location, how rare and unique it is. Any second thoughts on that?
You're referring to the limestone.
Right.
And I have heard people say that Titan would have come anyway. I do not know that for a fact. I know that in my looking at the incentives based upon what I knew at that time, I thought it was justified in return for a business coming here, building a $500 million plan, 160 jobs, average pay of $70,000 a year, $2 million in taxes, and looking at all of those things together, not knowing the controversy that would have risen about the environment. That's why at that particular time I voted to support the incentives.
This whole Titan issue has ignited other discussion about public policy and how much input the public should have about other industries and the type of industries that are allowed to come to the region. You have any thoughts on that?
Yes, from a public policy standpoint, Don, in a perfect world, it would be good for government to make known what goals or issues or desires they have for bringing new industry into Wilmington and this area. Also to allow the public to have input about what they would like to see seen to be brought into this area. And then when you know what those desires or wishes or goals are, then government needs to look at, well, what avenues can government take in order to bring those goals to fruition? And then when looking at the different possibilities, choose the one that will most likely bring that issue home.
So you feel that the community should have a dialogue on just what kinds of industry and development we want to locate here in the future?
I think that in order to let government know what people may or may not support before the fact, and for the people who live here to know what the government is looking at as far as bringing industry here and get everybody on at least the same page as much as possible, that would be a good thing to do. So then government could move forward in a way that hopefully will be acceptable to as many people as possible. You're never going to make everybody happy. That's a known fact.
But from the county standpoint, this was sort of a done deal before it ever became public, wasn't it?
I'm not going to say it was a done deal. The Committee of 100...
The offer was made, though?
I know that the Committee of 100 approached the county about the possibility of Titan coming. One thing, please remember, Titan did not have to get the county's permission to come here. They did not need a rezoning to put the cement plant there. It was already zoned for that a proper zoning. They did not need a special use permit because that zoning classification allowed a cement plant to come there. They didn't need our permission for anything. Where the county got involved, of course, was the awarding of the incentives if they did these things.
Do you hope Titan is successful in this process?
What I hope is that the process will be allowed to take place and will take place. Because first and foremost, before we can move forward in any way whatsoever, Titan must get all the permits, state and federal. and the regulatory agencies are in the process of making those decisions now. If Titan gets those permits, and if those regulatory agents feel that they are not, will not have a negative environmental impact, that would not justify the issue of those permits. If they do issue the permits, then I fully expect Titan to go forward with what they are supposed to do and do it in a way that will be beneficial to everyone that lives here. If they don't get the permits, that's fine with me too. But the process needs to take place, and the people who are the experts need to review the potential versus the non-potential environmental impacts and make a decision, because they're the experts in this. I am not.
Thanks for joining us.
My pleasure.
Chair of the New Hanover County Commissioner, Ted Davis, Jr. Next week, we're going to change the tone a little bit to talk to a music legend, one of the original members of the Lovin' Spoonful. Their bass guitarist, Steve Boone, will join us. We'll talk about that legendary group, the Lovin' Spoonful, next week on Byline Wilmington. Till then, I'm Don Ansell. You have a great week.
You've been watching Byline Wilmington on CBS 10 WILM. Join us every Sunday morning at 11 as we explore the issues that concern you.